Hello, guys. Alex Fedotoff here, and today we have amazing guest, very interesting guest, Seth. I always mispronounce name. Is it Neep or Nipe?
It's Kneep. It's an easy way to remember is I like to say this is Seth Kneep, Kneeping it real. So Seth Kneep.
Yeah. So Seth and his team manage over 100 million in annual Amazon revenue and have trained more than 100,000 entrepreneurs in over 150 countries to date. And many of those people have become multimillionaires. They also run the Amazon store for one of the sharks from Shark Tank TV show. Two countries invited their company to train their all top businesses, and also they run full sourcing team in China and multiple fulfillment centers in the United States. Did I say everything correctly?
Yes, it's great.
That's
The
awesome.
only there's one thing incorrect, and this is probably our team's fault from a misspell. We've trained over 10,000. Not 100,000. Someday it'll be 100,000. I think you gave me a good goal, Alex.
Yeah, for sure, man. We have the training program for e-commerce entrepreneurs, man. I'm almost like crying, when we see the fucking fuck. It's so, when we are able to like change like someone's direction in the business, help them scale the business, they expand, they hire more people, they change those people's lives. So
Right.
that part itself is, but I want to talk today to you like about like Amazon specifically. I want to ask some questions specifically to Amazon. For me, it's very like interesting platform. I have some friends that are like killing it on Amazon. I have no idea how. So
it is a mystery to some. It is not easy. I will say that. I agree. It is not something you just kind of skip into and try. You have to know and you have to work hard at it to make it work. It is difficult.
Mm-hmm. And I know some businesses, like for example, Das Wish Coffee. Some businesses like Amazon is kind of like their main sales channel, and they've just like exploded. So how do you make it happen? How do you is that like 2021 now, right? Considering the competition, like what is the best strategy for Amazon right now?
So I'm going to give a big answer and then a very specific answer. Okay.
Yeah, let's do both.
The best strategy is build a brand. Mm-hmm. More people today, Statista proves this over and over again. More people today are looking for brands than they have ever been before. Because back in the day, you walk into a store to buy something. That creates a brand loyalty, a sense I need to keep buying the brand I found at this store. But today that's changed. Now, because of the online, it's just level the playing field. You have a bigger opportunity to build a brand than ever before. People are more open to falling in love with new brands. So that's my first answer is start with the mindset, I build a brand. That's the first thing. That's why for all the stores that we're building for investors, we're building brands. That's our focus. But the second part to the question is keywords. I know that the word keyword is boring. I know people have heard it so many times, but Alex, it's still true. You have to start with a keyword. And my strategy is very simple. Find a keyword on Amazon, a keyword that pulls up the top 10 ranking organic listings. I don't care about the rest, just the top 10. It's the Pareto principle. 80% of my results are going to come from 20% of the work I put in. So I have to look at the cream of the crop. All the rest doesn't matter. We don't need tons of data. We need the right data. So the first thing I do is I search a keyword that pulls up 10 listings. Okay. Those top 10 listings, now I go and I say, okay, there are 3 questions I have. Number one.
Wait, top listing. So can you elaborate? I'll be interrupting you all the time because,
it's fine.
A lot of these things a lot of these things are like kind of like, like listings. What is a listing? How it works? What is this?
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's say I want to sell a golf bag, a Sunday golf bag. So I go to Amazon.com and I search Sunday golf bag. The first 10 listings that show up that are not sponsored. In other words, there's no ads on the listing. They're coming up naturally, organically. Each of those listings is representing a seller with a product on a Sunday golf bag. So that listing, if you click on it, it takes me to a page where I can see the photo, the title, the bullet points, persuading me to buy that product.
Okay, so that is a listing.
Yeah.
Then, so you identify the keywords that would have like those like top listings?
I start with just one. So I just, right now, I'm just in the idea stage. So let's just say my idea is Sunday golf bag and I search it. And the first 10 listings that show up organically, those first 10 listings, I'm going to look at three things. First, I'm going to look at demand. What is the demand? How do I know demand? By how much revenue it's generating every month. And for me, a minimum is 5,000 a month. If it's more, that's great, but it's got to be at least 5,000. Okay, that's the first thing. Second, I'm going to look at what I call ease.
I'll interrupt again, man.
Yeah, and Alex, you don't need to, no quality, just interrupt me, man. I don't care. I love it when people interact. I think people get too sensitive. Oh, don't interrupt me. I don't care. Do it.
Let's so demand, like, so would you go, like, let's say today, like I'm going to start like Amazon business, right? I have some, let's say I have some capital, like, I don't know, blow it up. And then like, do I go like very competitive niches, like hundreds of thousands of in sales, or would you go like some micro niches first to establish and kind of like get your way in?
Micro niche, for sure, 100%. Because especially if someone's new, if they start with something that has tons of sales, they're going to deal with very expensive advertising costs, in other words, PPC, and they're going to deal with a lot more nasty things that Amazon sellers do. If you go with a more niche down, it's a little more quiet, it's not as much money, but you need that cash flow to get your business to survive. If your whole business depends on a super competitive category, you're in for a real pickle, because you might spend a lot of money, make a lot of money for 2 months, and then someone takes you out and you're discouraged.
I see. Okay, so you'd go to micro niches. Would that be like long tail keywords?
Yes, yes. And in my definition, a long tail keyword is a keyword that is at least, usually general rule, 3 words or more.
Okay.
So short tail would be 2. 1 keyword is just like core seed keyword. 2 is short tail. 3 or more is long tail.
Okay, so demand is number one thing that you're watching for, like $5,000 a month or more in sales. You do like you guys have on Amazon those like helium
10?
Yeah, is that it? Like that's what you use, or you use Jungle?
No. I've used Helium 10. I've used Jungle Scout. We actually have our own private software that we built for ourselves that we're going to release to the public. What I like, Helium 10 has great stuff. So does Jungle Scout. But what I love about our software is there's too many tools, too many things. We focus on just the Pareto principle. We focus on just the cream of the crop. Let me give you an example, okay? In the 1990s, Mac and PC, Microsoft, they were at war, right? They were always battling. There were hundreds of other computer companies that no one knows about. Why does no one know about them? Because their market share was so small. But because Mac and PC had the majority market share, if you knew those 2 companies, you knew the computer industry. Well, the same is true of keywords in Amazon. If you know the top keywords for a micro niche, you know that market very well. You don't need thousands of keywords. You need a tool that gives you just the best keywords, and that's what you study. It saves you time, it saves you heartache, and it helps you to make much better, smarter, faster decisions.
That's awesome. So there are like 3 factors you mentioned. So one is the demand, right, that you're looking for.
Yes.
What are the other 2?
Ease of entry is number 2. And by ease of entry, I mean, how easy is it for me to launch my product into this market? Because the more competition there is, the more difficult it's going to be for me.
And what is the third one?
So before I go to the third, I just want to explain one more thing on ease of entry, okay? So people know, how do I measure that? So when I talked about demand, I want to know that at least 3 of those listings have a minimum of $5,000 revenue each, okay? When I talk about ease of entry, I want to know that at least 3 of those listings have under 100 reviews. Because here's the philosophy, and Alex, it works. Think about it. You go to Amazon, you type in golf bag, okay? And you see about 25 listings come up on your computer.
Yep.
If you notice listing A has, let's say, 1,000 reviews, listing B has 20 reviews, listing C has 50 reviews, listing D has 2,000 reviews, the reviews are all over the place. All of a sudden in your mind, you're not so nervous to buy one with fewer reviews, because not only is it on the first page, but you see a lot of variety of numbers of reviews. Now let's change the scenario. Let's say you search golf bag on Amazon and you see about 25 listings show up, and almost all of them are like more than 3,000 reviews, and you just see one with 20 reviews. You probably won't buy it, because people, when they shop, they judge by comparing. It's like, you know, I'm a pretty fit guy, but if you put me next to a really, like a bodybuilder, I look tiny. But if you put me next to a guy who never works out, I look really buff. It's all by perspective. So if I see multiple listings and all of them have a ton of reviews, I'm not going to buy the new product, the new listing with no reviews. In other
Man,
words,
that's what I
go ahead.
saw just now, like how I make decisions, right? That's it. I mean, you just
Yeah,
look at how many reviews. Does it have reviews? Yeah, it has reviews. Okay, like that's
exactly. Exactly. So here's what's so cool, Alex. If three of these really high selling listings are selling really well, one has 17, one has 80, one has 90. If they're doing really well, that tells me I can also do really well, because when my listing goes up next to it, it doesn't look so bad. I don't look so bad next to a listing with 20 reviews, but if I'm next to a listing with 4,000, I look terrible.
You seize the competition, right? How big is the competition in that particular kind of like
Exactly.
market?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
I see. Wow, that's awesome. What's the number 3?
Number 3 is differentiation opportunity. And this one is the hardest one to measure because it requires a great amount of creativity and insight and intuitiveness. And I will explain one way to measure it. For example, remember I talked about the top 10 listings that are ranking?
Yeah.
If at least 3 of them have under 3.5 stars or 3.5 star rating. So their rating is low. The reviews is only 3.5 stars, not 4, not 5.
They're almost ready to go out of Amazon, right? Like Amazon would kick them out, no?
No, they're not going to kick them out. Amazon will keep them on if they're still selling, because Amazon wants to make money. But what it will tell me is, wow, if people are willing to buy this product and the listings reviews are that bad, then that's an implication I can improve on that product a lot. But here's the thing. Even if none of them have 3.5 stars, all of them are like 4 to 5, that doesn't make me say no to the product. It is very difficult to find high ranking listings with that low stars. I just use that as sort of like a bonus, sort of like a unicorn. So then the question is, well, how do I know this differentiation opportunity? I look at those 10 listings and I read their 2-star reviews and their 3-star reviews. Not the 1 star so much, not the 4 and the 5, and I'll tell you why. The 4 and the 5, they're positive. Okay, fine. I can do what they're doing, but I need to find the problem, because an entrepreneur, the way you build a business is you solve a problem.
Correct.
Why not the 1 star? Well, because, Bobby McGee, he bought the golf bag, he rolled out of bed, he stubbed his toe, he has gum in his hair, he's in a bad mood. And so he leaves a negative review because he's having a bad day. People are very emotional. So the 1 star is sometimes unrealistically negative. It's not going to give me good data. The best data is the 2 and the 3 star. Those tend to be the most honest critical reviews. And those reviews tell me the problem with the product. Now I have wonderful data to go and take that product and fix the problem better than the competition. That's differentiation.
That's awesome. So, and typically like 2-star reviews, I mean, you would say like, people would say like, this product has some good stuff, but like also some, but then, it would be more kind of like rational, right? Like there would be some good things and also some bad things, where it's just like only good and only bad.
Right. Yeah. So I think you can also look at the good. In fact, in my opinion, when you look at reviews of competitors, there's 2 things. They're going to tell you what to do, and the reviews tell you what not to do. But more important to me is the negative, because that teaches me to do something different. See what I mean? I'll still look at some of the good reviews, but that's going to be obvious. I'm going to see it in the photos. Every listing talks about it in the bullet points, the title, and the description already.
That's awesome. So let's say you launch, like you've identified the niche you're entering, like do you start with like, you will need like the PPC, right? Like you will need the ads, or like you just put it there and like somehow people find it?
So great question. Before we move on to that, can I share something else that's I think is really important?
For sure.
So that's just stage 1. Okay, that's just stage 1. There's a second stage I have to go through before I even decide this is a good product. Because notice, Alex, so far, I've only looked at everything based on 1 keyword. Okay, now what I do, now that I've seen that, now I say, okay, what are the top 30 keywords for these 10 listings we're talking about? In other words, just like a table must have 4 legs, not 1, a product can never be based on 1 good keyword, because keywords are like paths. Like I live in Austin, and there are 3 main freeways that can bring you into Austin. Some people use 35, some people use 45, some people use Mopac 1 freeway. And when you get to Austin, Austin's like the product. Well, keywords are the same. Bobby McGee in New York, when he's looking for a golf bag, he might type in Sunday golf bag. Lucy Pickleberry, though, she lives in California. She might type in portable golf bag. And, Fuzzle Snuckleberry, who lives in Austin, Texas, might type in golf bag for golfer. In other words, they're all looking for the same product, but they use different keywords to find it. So I cannot depend my product research on one keyword. Now that I found that one keyword did pass the test, my next test is what are the top 30 keywords for these 10 listings. That's my next step.
That's awesome. So, and that like, do you just use like suggestions on Amazon, or you use some tools as well for that? Like, how do you identify those keywords?
Great question. I use three things. I use demand, the same criteria we talked about before. So let's just say my main keyword was Sunday golf bag. Now I need to find the next keyword, okay? So let's say the next keyword is portable golf bag. So I go and I take that and I type it into Amazon. Same test. If the first 10 listings, if at least 3 of them generate 5,000 minimum revenue per month, then that keyword qualifies as high potential. Okay, that's the first test. The second one is also the same, and that is ease of entry. If I type in portable golf bag on Amazon and I notice that of the 10 listings that show up, that 3 or more have under 100 reviews, that's a good sign. That's good. But there's one more. And this one I didn't use in the first keyword, but I do use it in this stage, and that is relevance. In other words, remember my original keyword was Sunday golf bag, right? Okay. Now we're looking at keyword number 2. So we'll call it portable golf bag. When I type in portable golf bag, of those original 10 listings, at least 3 of them need to show up in the first 10 spots for me to consider that keyword as relevant. Relevance is so important. I believe it is one of the most non-talked about subjects in the world of Amazon FBA. People don't talk about it enough. Yet if you don't have relevance, you don't have a business. Your PPC campaign won't work. You won't get conversions. You won't get sales. Your business reports won't make sense. It has to be relevant. So those are the 3 next criteria I use. Once I found 30 keywords, okay, at least 1/3 of them have to pass that test. If 1/3 of them, which is 10, pass the test, now I know I have a huge potential product, like super potential. And I already have the keywords to build my listing. Those same keywords will go in my PPC campaign.
Oh, that's, you've done your keyword. Oh, the keyword research for like PPC at the same time, pretty much.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, if I run PPC, if I want it to be effective, the same keywords that are in my PPC campaign for exact match have to be in my listing and in the exact same order. That's why PPC breaks for so many people. They do exact match. Like, why is my campaign, why are my listings not, my sponsored ads not showing up? Well, it's because the keywords don't match. If it's exact match, then it has to be in the listing. Amazon won't let it make their ads show up if they can't find that same keyword inside the listing. Whether by listing, I mean the title or the bullet points or the product description.
That's so interesting. So you kind of like, you prepared like the whole like framework, and then like you just like a template.
Exactly. And here's the thing, Alex, it makes it so much easier because now, you know how confident I am now that I've done all this research? I am so confident. I'm not making a lot of people make stupid decisions building a business because they're afraid. Why are they afraid? Because they don't have knowledge. Why don't they have knowledge? Because they didn't do their research. And it results in them making, let me give you an example. They have a great product, but because they haven't done enough research, they're not confident about it. So they're talking to a supplier and they start fighting over the sample cost, which is a very dumb mistake because suppliers are like, well, this person is not really a serious business. Why would you negotiate over sample? That's a one-time thing. You should negotiate over big quantities. And the supplier loses trust and doesn't give them a good deal, or the supplier will overcharge you. They will overcharge you because they think they're not professional because they're negotiating a sample. Therefore, they're not going to come back to buy more. Their business is going to fail. Therefore, I'm going to charge them a lot to make this worth my time. The suppliers that give you the best prices are those that can tell you're a legit business and they know you're going to come back with more orders. So they're willing to give you a better discount on your first batch today because they want the return business. But if you make decisions that make one look stupid in front of a supplier, they don't trust you, they're going to overcharge you. And then what does that do? That hurts your profit margin. And isn't that crazy? All of that was based on not having the right knowledge, doing the right research at the beginning. You have to do the research at the beginning. Everything else goes easier after that.
Wow, that is amazing. Okay, so let's say you have one of those products, you've done everything correctly.
Yeah.
You're launching the products and how it's getting traction. How do you scale that? Because for each product, there's like probably so much volume, right, that can be done, right? So do you like, do you add like more products like this, or like how do you kind of like, do you add like products in the same niche so they can kind of like help each other rank, or how the expansion phase works? Maybe it's too early, like, but I'm curious how that works.
Sure. Yeah, we can jump to that, no problem. So a couple things. First of all, I need to know that my first product is going to be profitable and that it's going to grow. I'm not happy if it just stays like this. It has to grow. Now, here's the reality. In 18 months, you will have a good, after selling the same product, you'll have a good idea about how much revenue you can extract from that product. After 18 months, you'll have a good, you won't be like, I wonder how much more. You'll know pretty well if you did a good job. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, when I run ads on the product, in 36 months is when I will know, okay, how much profit I can get. It literally takes that long to know how good you can get. Now, I don't mean you have to wait 36 months to be profitable at all. You should be profitable by month 2 or 3, ideally. At least by month 2 would be nice. Sometimes not till month 3, and we can talk about that. But what I'm saying is over time, you keep optimizing. After 36 months, as a general rule, you know the product so well, you know how much revenue you can get, and you know how much profit you can get. So my point is, I have to know that before I order from the supplier. How do I know that? Well, I go look at those 10 listings again. I ask myself a very simple question. How many times are they selling a day? It is so easy to find that out with software today. Okay, let's just say their average is 25 times a day. Okay, then if I'm gonna be on page 1, I will be selling 25 times a day as well. Therefore, how many do I need over a month period? So I go 25 times 30. Okay, I need a 30 days of inventory. How long does it take the manufacturer to build the next batch? Takes 15 days. Okay, I need to add on another 15 days. I need 45 days of inventory. See where I'm going? In other words, I plan this up front so I don't run out of inventory. Now, running out of inventory is not the end of the world. There's things you can do to prevent that from hurting you, but it's preferable not to when you can avoid it. So I want to answer your question directly now. So once I've planned that out and I know my inventory and how much I need, and I get it shipped to Amazon, I open up PPC very aggressively because if you go to Amazon, Alex, and you type in golf bag, you have to see my listing. I have no reviews yet. I have no chance of getting a sale. I have to find a way to artificially push it to the top. You have to see my listing. Otherwise, my business will fail. That means I have to bid higher than everyone else on the keywords, and my budget has to be big enough so that at least 75% of every 24 hours, it is showing up before I run out of my daily budget. Now, again, that scares people because they're like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna run out of money. It does cost money, yes, but you're building a business. It's like a baby. Do you expect a baby to feed you? No, they're a newborn. You feed them, you take care of them, you care for them. And someday when they get older, they take care of you.
Then when you're old, then they might give you something great. Such a good point, man. Wow. So how much, like, let's say you wanted to like launch the product with this framework, like how much capital would the person need to launch the product?
The lowest I've ever seen was $400, and that was what I did for my first product.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So how did that happen for you? Your first product, like, when was it, and how did it go for you?
Yeah. So I was searching on eBay because I first wanted to sell on eBay, and I was very excited. I thought I'm going to blow this out of the water. And I started looking in the sports and fitness category, and I noticed that there were just so many product categories. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to a category where no one would see. You would never think anyone would go to this category to launch a product. And so I looked at all the categories, and the category I found was cemetery. I thought, yeah, that's a depressing category. I don't think anyone's going to start a business on that. And that's when I found cremation urns, these little necklaces that hang around your neck, and there's a little cap on top, and you can fill it with ashes of your loved one or your pet that died. And so I started selling those on eBay, and they didn't sell well at all. Then I listed them on Amazon, and they started selling really well. The way I found them is I ordered them on DHgate for $400. Now, again, this is an exception. If someone's starting an Amazon, I would not say, hey, $400, start your private label product. You're going to need closer to $3,000 to $6,000 to start. But that's just how I got started. and it worked for me. And I started making $100 a day, $10 sales about a day, about $10 profit a piece. That for me, that was a lot of money, man. That's $3,000 a month. That was extra money that I wasn't getting for working a job from my own business. And so that got me going, and that showed me, man, I can do a lot more with this. And that's when I started going deeper and really thinking about, okay, how do I build a good product? And that's a whole nother topic. Sometimes you find a product and you remember I talked about differentiation. You change one thing. Like let's take the golf bag. Maybe it has a wider strap for your shoulder so it doesn't hurt. Maybe you add something soft, right? Maybe the color, maybe it's the design, or you design a whole brand new one. Now, if you design a brand new one, your risk is greater because it takes more time and also because it costs more money, but you have more potential to make more. If you do a small differentiation, like a wider strap or maybe just a different color, your risk is lower.
This is ODM or original design manufacturing or no?
OEM all the way. Yep. OEM all the way. Yeah. And that's the other piece too, is suppliers love it when you do OEM because that tells them you're a serious buyer. You do have to pay for more of your minimum order quantity, but they'll give you a lower per unit cost.
Wow. So that's like, so for example, if you would like to start like a new project, let's say you want to start like a new project, that's what you would do. Like you would find the product, you would see how that product would be like slightly better, like one feature, so one or like few features of it, and that you would launch it. That's how you would do it.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And again, it could be a small feature or it could be a whole brand new design. For someone starting off, I would just change one thing. And someone's going to say, well, Seth, when I look through all the critical reviews, I see hundreds of complaints about different things. Do I need to fix all of them? No, just find one or two. Well, what if one complaint is that the bag is too heavy, the golf bag, and another complaint is the strap is uncomfortable? And let's just pretend, Alex, that the complaint about the bag being too heavy is mentioned more often, but the complaint about the strap being uncomfortable, it's not mentioned quite as often, maybe only 70% as much, but it's spread out amongst those top 10 competitors more evenly. Then I'm going to go with that one, the uncomfortable strap. I'm going to fix that problem. Why? Because think about it from a consumer point. A consumer, they don't go to Amazon and just read like 50 reviews. They read 2 or 3 from one listing, 1 from another, maybe 4 from the next. They spread it out. And if they keep seeing a repeated same problem that these straps are uncomfortable, and then they notice my listing and it says comfortable strap, velvet added underneath or wider strap for comfortable, and they can see a picture of that and they're like, wow, that looks really comfortable, they're going to buy my listing because I fixed a problem better than anyone else is doing.
So that's cremation earn business, right? Like how did it go for you? Like did you expand it with more products, with more like types of, or what did you do?
Yeah, so I started in the cremation urn category. I actually built a business around jewelry. Ended up selling it later on for a few $1,000s. It wasn't anything huge, but it was there. While that was going, I started breaking into the toy category, then the patio, lawn, and garden. Then I did eventually do some sports products, and I just started growing in different categories. And at this time, I wasn't super focused on the brand. I was focused on what's selling because I didn't know any better. But I noticed we started getting sort of a brand presence. Like I would go to a keyword research tool and some of our brand names would pop up on the autocomplete, which means people are searching for this. And so all the money I made, I put back into the business. I didn't take a single dime, pun intended, out of that business. I just kept putting it back in, because I was still working for Apple and I wanted to have enough money, the business big enough to take care of me so I didn't depend on Apple anymore.
In Apple, they pay well. So it's like business needs to do good numbers, right?
Exactly. And here's the crazy thing, Alex, I was $24,000 in debt. You wouldn't think it, but I was terrible manager of my money. I studied Dave Ramsey a lot to learn how to manage money. Like I literally had to change me as a person, not just learn Amazon. I had to change to become the kind of person who could manage wealth, because I interviewed Kevin O'Leary at his condo in Florida, which was a really cool opportunity. I asked him a question. I said, Kevin O'Leary, I'm sure you get asked this all the time. What is your net worth? He says, I'm not going to answer that question. I said, why? He goes, because they get asked it all the time. People like to judge you based on that. He goes, Seth, the most important thing is not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. Now, because I am a very wealthy person, I understand that. It is very hard. Managing money is so much harder than making money, because when you have money, it's like, okay, what do I do with it? You know, how do I use it to grow my business? So that's why I started by doubling my dime. It taught me discipline. I had to become disciplined with what little that I was blessed with.
Such a good perspective change. So let's say you have a business. I know some businesses, they launch like on some other platforms, right? And they just like launch on Amazon, right? Is that like a viable like approach, or like you like from the expertise and everything that you have yourself, you just like go
Sure.
straight to Amazon first?
Sure. Excellent question. And I have two answers. I've done both many ways, and I can explain. If you're starting, I would start on Amazon. I would do that as hard as you can for a whole year and focus on building that up, because right now it is the fastest growing market sector on planet Earth. There's no other place on planet Earth that's growing faster than Amazon. So I would start there. However, if you want to build a brand, it makes total sense to also launch a Shopify store. Shopify has an integrated API where when you get purchases on Shopify, Amazon fulfills the orders for you. You can do the same thing on eBay. So you can integrate them with software like Joe Lister, and there's a bunch of other ones out there where it just, well, actually Shopify does it for you, so you don't have to do it. But for eBay, you do. I don't know if they've changed that recently. They might have, but you can do it. So Amazon is holding your inventory. Even though they buy it on Shopify, it's still a transaction on Amazon. Amazon ships it to them. But does someone have to do that? No. There's so, like you mentioned earlier, like Death Wish Coffee, there's so many brands, they just focus on Amazon. They grow the brand huge. And today there are people, empire flippers. There's so many people buying Amazon brands up like crazy, because I believe this with all my heart. In the next 5 years, some of the wealthiest people on planet Earth will be Amazon store owners. Why can I say that? Check this out. You will love this. Okay, check this out. Alex, in the last 12 months, what would you guess? Okay. In the last 12 months, for all retail sales, what percentage of those would you guess were online?
Retail, I mean, retail was COVID, right? Like, so it's like probably 50, 60%.
That's what most people think. And I would think the same thing, brother. Only 14.3% was online.
Seriously?
Yes, look it up. U.S. Census, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's all over. Just go look it up. Look at Statista.
Like,
I was blown. I went and I did.
That's COVID year, like 2020?
In the last, yes, in 2020.
Wow.
Only 14.3%. Like, it's
scratching the fucking surface.
It's unbelievable. And here's the thing. It's growing like this. And so can you imagine 5 years from now? You're talking trillions of dollars moving to online. Half of those are Amazon. So like, in my opinion, either invest in Amazon, get someone to build a store for you, or build your own business, because that's where the money's going.
Yeah, friends of mine, I told you about, right? Like they've scaled their business from like from zero to like first year they've done like 600,000. Second year they've done like 9 million, and then next year after that they've done like 35. Like,
that's so awesome. That's so awesome. And you know why I respect them? Because I know it is not easy. It is not. And people like to pretend it's easy, so you buy a course. It's not easy. You're building a business. It's hard. It's like raising a child.
Yeah. Big team they had to have, and then the over leverage, you know, like everything they can to fund, to buy the inventory. It's like cash flow, obviously, like it's
because you have so much success, it actually hurts. You're like, wait, I have so much success, I need to buy way more. I don't have enough capital to buy more. Right. Yet you're making tons of money. It's a weird thing. And that's when people are like, whoa, I have to learn how to manage my inventory. It's like a whole new world to people if they haven't owned a business before. I ran into the same thing years ago.
Have you like personally had this, like, you know, because you have Amazon Basics, or, you know, this kind of like categories, like Amazon seeing like these guys are like killing it. Let me just like, and just let's put like Amazon Basics, like just drop the price and just like kill that category. Have you personally like know anyone who's been like who's lost their business because of that? How vulnerable is, you know,
so there's two, I'm so glad you mentioned there's two things to that. One is the vast majority of those people, when that happens to them, they're selling products that sell for under $25. I don't recommend it. It's extremely difficult. And if you notice, most of Amazon Basics products are under $25. They're very low price. Why is this a problem? Well, if Amazon's selling it, they don't have to charge themselves a fee. So their margins are already bigger. Well, yeah, but you're still going to have to pay them a fee. But here's the thing. if I sell a coffee mug, okay, and I sell a headset, and they're approximately the same size and weight, but the coffee mug sells for $10 and the headset sells for $100, okay? Think about this. The shipping fee to get those from the supplier to Amazon's fulfillment center is the same. And the FBA fulfillment fee, because it's also based on size and weight, as is the shipping fee, is also the same. Therefore, for my coffee mug, like 20 to 30% of my revenue is already eaten up by shipping and FBA fulfillment. But for the headset, maybe only 3%. See? So that alone, you have fixed costs. You can make so much more money selling a product that sells for $80, $100, $130. You know, I'm not going to share all the details, but I will share with you one product that we were extremely successful with is the Cash Cannon. We were the first seller to bring, it's the gun that shoots money. We sold that.
Oh, really? Wow.
We sold that. That got us to over 20,000 a month, man. No one else was selling it. We sold it. That thing sold for between $80 and $120. Our margins were huge, like $40, $50, $60 every sale. It was huge. We didn't have to even sell that many to make really good money. My point is, too many people, when they start, they think, oh, I have to start with a cheap item because I don't have a lot of money. That's the wrong thinking. You will have a bigger problem with money later on when your profits go to zero and your business goes skeleton. You can't do that. You have to have margin, you know?
Man, that's so valuable. I know you told me like you have to go. Do you have to go? Like in terms of time?
Let me see. 5 minutes, man. You got 5 minutes is good?
Okay, yeah.
5 minutes, okay.
Man, I enjoyed I would talk with you like if you had a time like for hours. So what's like, okay, so margins, right? I was big one, like the fact that you mentioned that. I was talking to my friends, you know, who scaled their Amazon business 35, and they said the same. It's like they wouldn't want to like sell anything less than like $25. They said exactly the same. Wow. And so what would be you said the Power Flippers is a place where like businesses are, like Amazon businesses are sold?
Empire. Yep. Empire Flippers. If someone's trying to sell their business, it's a great place to do it. They set up the transaction for you. They have a escrow account where you can save the money to be safe until everything's checked off. Yeah.
How confident, like, let's say if I'm buying like a business for like $2 million, like Amazon business, right? How confident I can be that business will continue in that kind of like direction? Is there like, what are the risks basically of this model?
Yeah, if you give it the attention it needs, and if you have the right tools, there's no reason, Alex, you could not grow it to huge. Here's the truth. Are there a lot of sellers? Yes. The vast majority of them fail. Why? Because they don't know. They don't understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur. They don't understand hustle. They don't understand that you're going to lose money along the way to make big money later on. Until we can accept that, we can't succeed. So that's the reason. And I think that statistic scares people who could otherwise succeed because that's where the money is moved. I'll give you a super cool example. Check this out. If you go to Amazon.com and you start typing in anywhere, we'll use golf bag, and then the letter A, you know how it shows you the autocomplete, like suggested searches?
Oh, yeah. I see so many. Oh, wow. Yeah.
See that? Yeah. Okay. So when you do that, and I'm going to do it here as well. So I'm going to go golf bag A. I type in A, has golf. Mine says, hold on one second. I said gold, not golf. There we go. Golf bag accessories for men, golf bag airline trap. Like all of these suggestions, this is called autocomplete.
Yours are different than mine.
I know. And there's a reason for that. And I can explain.
Mine says like, golf bag attachment for golf cart, golf bag accessories for women.
It's because you're in Miami. It's because I'm in Austin. It's also because you're closer to fulfillment centers that have those items. I'm close to fulfillment centers that have these items. It's also because my buying patterns are different than yours. There's a lot of different things that go into that. But here's what I want to share. Some of these autocomplete words that come up, if you click them, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's true for this scenario, but this happens all the time. You click the word, you scroll, and on the search results page, the product that you searched is not on the search results page. It's not there.
No.
It shows you other products. What that tells me is Amazon shoppers are searching for products that don't even exist on Amazon yet. Goldmine, opportunity. When people say Amazon's saturated, they're like, no, it's not saturated. And when people say that to me, I say this. I say, do you buy an Amazon? They say yes. I'll say thank you.
I see some of the listings because we're now like investing in businesses, we're buying businesses, and like Amazon is like new territory for me. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm cautiously, I'm just exploring. So, but I see some businesses like 2, 3, 4 years, like $20 million, $30 million in revenue. What's like in very competitive spaces, like vitamins, for example.
Yeah.
How do you make it happen? Like in those competitive niches, it's for me, it's like, wow.
Two things. You need good startup capital and you need a good differentiation plan. So if you're going to go into a competitive category, you're going to have to spend more money before you make that into a profit. And number two, you have to differentiate. You have to give your shoppers a reason to buy from you. We have students who've done extremely well in supplements. One of them has done so well that Amazon came up and said, I want to buy your business from you. This is one of our students.
Wow.
So like, and he's in supplements, man. He's in a super competitive category. So I don't think the issue is, can you be profitable or can you succeed? You just have to adjust your strategy, because if you couldn't succeed, then how come other people are? You know what I mean? Some people say, oh, you can never do, those the supplements because they're too competitive. Well, other people are doing it. But then someone's going to say, yeah, well, then how do you do low price products? Well, that's because the majority of those are from manufacturers in China who have very good profit margins. They are the supplier. They have flooded that space.
Yeah, that was actually like $20 like supplement. Yeah, that was my like point, like, wow.
Yeah.
Would you get into that, or like would you just stick with this like approach that you've mentioned, like small products, like dominate those like small kind of like sub micro niches and just expand?
We're doing, with all the stores we're building, brother, we're doing all of it. But when I said I would start with the niche, I'm talking about someone who's starting out new. I would start with a niche. We like to call them low profile products. In other words, if you want to be able to focus on building the business, lower the risk, and you start making an extra, $1,500, $3,000 profit a month, that's a great model. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? Start there. Then later you can start, okay, now that I feel comfortable, I got my feet wet, now let's start more competitive categories. You have a little more cash, you can risk to lose it. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that to anyone who's new, or maybe they have a full-time 9-to-5 and they just want to do this on the side. I would start more niche, like you said earlier. And then later, if you want to grow into that, you can.
Awesome, man. I mean, I would talk with you for hours, but I know you have stuff to do. I also have stuff to do. But it's been a tremendous pleasure. Guys, we'll have links to where you can find more information about Seth, what he offers, and more information about him as well. I haven't gotten into that a lot, but it was amazing to meet you. And man, when you're in Miami, hit me up.
I will. I absolutely will. So after this call, like, email me your phone number and I'll text you back.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, everyone who watched. And yeah, you'll find information if you're looking to get into Amazon. Seth is probably like the best person to learn from, get the information, get the insights. You'll also have some software tools and stuff that would give you the competitive advantage. So we'll have the information below or above, I don't know, somewhere. And thank you for making this. Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Nice to meet you, brother.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. Bye.
Right,